Welcome to Tekedia Daily. I'm Ndubuisi, Ekekwe. Conversation today will focus on how Facebook has become the leading operating system in Nigeria. Of course, if you look into the operating system, which is essentially a specific class of software, where when you see it, it has some very basic features. It brings an abstraction of hardware, also needs drives and network effects. The more people use it, the more people adopt it, the better it becomes. And operating system enables us to have an interface with our applications, which are running and built on top of that operating system. It gives the user access, the capability for them to use those applications. Windows, iOS, Android, they are examples of operating systems. Of course, Apple does not necessarily fall into the hardware abstraction because we still know, because of its closed network, that only Apple hardware can actually power the iOS, but other ones fall into that. You don't really care whether the Windows is made by Dell, whether it's made by Gateway. The key thing here is that you are working in the Windows operating system. So Google has also become an operating system. It's an operating system for websites. It's an operating system for contents that are put on the web. And all these contents are increasingly being abstracted. Google makes them being abstracted to the specific place where they are because the search engine of Google aggregates them and now makes them available for users to actually get access to them. And the more people use this abstraction, the more people are also getting into the network effect and then driving the applications that are helping to drive the capacity of the Google search engine. Alexa, the voice assistant program by Amazon, is also an operating system. But this one now is feeding on the voice interface of the new form of the computing system. It makes it possible that as it begins to grow in popularity, it will have a higher level of network effect. But I'm focusing on Facebook, which has become a new continent with about 2 billion people. Among these 2 billion people, you have Nigerians. And increasingly, the young people in the country are getting the abstraction of the internet from the fence of Facebook. As far as they are in Facebook, they don't really care the ecosystem that made it possible for them to be there. And the Facebook network effect makes it possible that as far as their friends and family are in Facebook, there is no other need to be any other way less. They are also seeing the applications through Messenger, payment, banking solutions, publications. These are things that are evolving as Facebook becomes more critical, as Facebook becomes more innovative, as Facebook becomes ability to innovate and add more features. So these applications are going to be very, very huge. We also see the user aspects. There are absolutely nothing these days that you cannot do on Facebook. So what has happened is that a young man or young woman getting to the internet is increasingly being introduced into the internet from the point of Facebook. And that means that Facebook has become the operating system that most of them are going to see the internet of the future. And this is very important because if they do that, they will have a very formidable opportunity, very critical and very competitive in future and helping them overcome any challenge from Google and from Microsoft. You know, there used to be a time when Microsoft had a very solid consumer connection, especially in Nigeria. But today, Microsoft is largely an enterprise-based business in Nigeria. It has lost that consumer connection that it had many, many years ago. And Google also came a few years ago and made a lot of effort to link itself and brand to the typical Nigerian youth and the Nigerian people. But Google has also become largely sequestered from these people. In the industry today, Facebook is the leader in the sense of figuring out how to reach out to people and building that network connectivity, that relationship, which is going to be very critical for people to stay in this ecosystem. There is no other company in the country today that does it. And I see that as it continues to do this, this operating system, the Facebook operating system will become a very critical component for many young people getting into the web for the very first time in Nigeria. And that's why Facebook will be a very formidable entity in that country and going forward. You're listening to Tekedia Daily.